People like us who don't necessarily have huge resources or a lot of power inside our organisations doing a lot with a little. And the story of Manhattan is a story of transformation. It's such a dynamic place to visit because there are so many creatives who get in there and like shake things up. And the story of this video kind of brings that to life. You see, the creative who shot this video didn't have the budget to go to New York, but he really dreamed of doing it. And so what he did is he wrote to hotel managers in Manhattan. And he said, I'd like to make a time-lapse video of New York. And if you give me a night's free accommodation in your hotel, and a few more hotels do as well, then I'm going to come to New York and shoot a video. And more than 30 hotel managers at some of New York's nicest hotels said yes. Isn't that cool? So this photographer who didn't have the budget to spend a month in New York, wasn't a professional photographer, and can we have the music up just a little? Wasn't a professional photographer, basically, but was an amateur. The barriers are collapsing. It's not like just about professionals anymore. People who have no business changing the world are often doing it these days. And the wisdom is in the group. The fact is that he asked for participation from complete strangers. And that's one of the things that's really exciting me about the future that we're building together. That there are more people ready to help us than we have hours in a lifetime. The playa, or at least the web, and the world really will provide. And so I've got 5 trends, or 5 opportunities I'd like to share with you in the few minutes we have together. I'm not really daring to ride a bike anymore. I feel like that was enough of a demo. But yeah, there's 5 things I'd like to share with you in our few minutes left together that I think could make a really big difference in our organisations or in our lives. Please buy a raffle ticket. So in our lives, I've got 5 little opportunities I'd like to share with you. And the first one will involve probably one of the most digital people in the room. You're too close to me. Who's the guy that was far away? Where are you? What's your name?
Mark.
G'day Mark, I'm Tim. So I think great leaders are great learners. And basically I'd like to use John Hagel's model of the edge to talk about innovation, because innovation's basically it's a buzzword that we hear a lot of, right? But what it means to me is innovation is about asking and answering the question, is there a better way? And Mark, you and I know, as 2 digital thinkers, just like most of the room, we know that there are always better ways to do things, or very often better ways to do things. And I'm going to have a little conversation with you where this is a game that we're playing, and you do have a speaking role at the end. Yeah? You're open to that?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. It's not a big speaking role. Okay, so we don't have that much time. So here's the thing. John Hagel argues that every one of our organisations has core thinkers and edge thinkers, that every one of us has the capacity to be a core thinker and an edge thinker. I often to give a core keynote, where it was kind of like standard, and perhaps an edge keynote where I kind of took some risks, rode a bike on stage without a helmet. And basically, what John Hagel argues is we foster our edge, that over time we grow as people and as organisations, and we get to innovate and we find better ways of doing things. And Mark, when I see that model, I think of you in our team. And by the way, this is the conversation I would love every one of us to have with someone in our lives. Mark, when I saw Tim speak at the conference the other day, I think he talked about edge thinkers and I thought of you. And I just want to tell you that sometimes when you come up with ideas at work, I roll my eyes. I'm busy, there's too much going on, but I've realised if I'm not careful, we're going to lose you from our team. And so basically what I'd like to do is once a month sit down for 20 minutes and buy you a coffee and just listen to your ideas. Have you explain the way the world's moving, or what you think the opportunities are for the team or for me or for the business. And I can't guarantee that anything will change as a result of those coffees, but I can promise that I will listen. And I can promise that I believe that you will inspire me to change the way I lead. Mark, would you be my edge thinker?
Yeah, sure.
Can you imagine if he said no? Wouldn't that have sucked the energy out of the room? Who here would love someone to say, I want you to be my edge thinker? I just want to sit down and shut up and listen for 20 minutes once a month to all your cool ideas. Every one of us would love, every one of us that we work with, every person in this room, we all want to feel important, valued, and understood. Part of the power for people who are in positions of authority or are positional leaders, part of the opportunity for us is to give some of that power away and to share that power and to collaborate and foster our edge. Got a few more leadership opportunities to wrap up the conversation. In terms of the future of leadership, since it is collaborative, I think hiring a remote colleague is one of the best things I personally have ever done. This is Roland, who manages my business from the Philippines. And and he's so, look at him, he's so much fun. Like, this is the man I get to speak to every morning, right? Like, you know, that story about me waking up in a bad mood, that was pre-Roland, right? This guy's a champion. And I found him on Odesk, and you know, he's the sunshine of my life. I love that guy. So I encourage you to collaborate with people from maybe not Australia. It's a global economy. Second trend that I think is really exciting that we can do right now, hold fail cons, where we talk about our failures in front of our colleagues. FailCon Sydney, they asked me to talk for 20 minutes about my failures. It sent me into a depressive spiral for about 3 months. But I think I really, I think I really brought it. And Ignite Talks are where people talk for about 6 minutes and the slides just advance and people talk about their passions and what we can learn about their passions that we could apply it to work. And some organisations are hosting Ignite Talks internally. It's about capturing some of that wisdom in the group. Third one, all-in strategic planning. Some of the bigger organisations I work with are saying, how can we learn from that wisdom in the group? Remember, the front lines, they've got ideas. People that are not necessarily in positional authority can be leaders of our organisations. Social, external and internal. I get on LinkedIn. If I see a cool video on YouTube, I get on LinkedIn, find the person, write to them and say, I really thought your YouTube video was cool. Can I talk to you for 20 minutes? Very often they will say yes. Isn't that cool? There are more people ready to help us than we have hours in a lifetime. And finally, if you don't know your strengths, find a strengths. I'm not on their payroll, but this company charges $10 to find out of 34 human strengths the 5 that you have, and mine are strategic, communication, ideation, achievement, and woo. And that's probably me. Woo, it means winning over others. They're all good. Like, you read anyone's 5 strengths, you're like, I wish I had those 5. And I can tell you right now that finding my 5 strengths, finder strengths, is one of the smartest things I ever did in business. And I feel like people who do that kind of thing really are creating the future of leadership because it's something we build together. Make sense? Yeah. Well, that's all from me. Well, let's rock this. I've put my email up here. If you'd like these slides, if you've got a question, or you want to ask me about Burning Man, or if you want one of those high-quality Burning Man hugs, you can see me at the back. But if you'd like a copy of the slides or anything, email team at timlonghurst.com, and Roland will get it. And I don't care if you all email because that's what he does. He just replies emails for me. So thank you so much for being such a fun audience and here's to an amazing future.